Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Megaman Battle Network Operate Star Force. In the last part we finished off our exploration of the internet, and now it's time for us to start off the end game. Dr. Hikari speaking. Oh, hello honey. Yes, Lan was just here. I'm worried. I think those two are in trouble. Don't worry. I'll look out for them. I'll never let what happened last time happen again. Honey, I'm sorry to have called you at work. No, I'm sorry for not being at home more. That is true. But it's okay. I'll be fine by myself here. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Bye. Dr. Hikari, I've got info on the virus in the World 3 rocket. It's the life virus. I see. Lan and Hub don't have a chance. We've got to act fast. Can you help me? Yes, sir. Why is that water purple? That's not healthy. We made it. So this is the World 3's lab, huh? Yeah, there's the hacking rocket. Let's break in. And thus the end game begins with easily the most disappointing final area in the series. It's Miss Yuri and the old man. Lan, I see them. Thank you. All you did was help me, and now... Not to worry at all. I'm used to hard times. Lan, you have to get up there quick. Roger, on my way. Well, I guess Waterworks 6 might be the most disappointing now that I think about it, but for similar reasons, and that's the sad part of it all. Lan, I'll disable the lock. Time for the final area, which, yeah, I'm just not a fan of. Megaman, there's gotta be a program locking this door. Find it and delete it. Roger. If you can't tell by the fact we're back in the oven computer, the World 3 computer is just the main plot scenario computers condensed into one, but with new viruses at least. For instance, here we got the Big Snake 3. I think 300 HP, 200 damage from either the eggs that it can shoot at or the snakes that touch it. And if you get a good enough rank on it, you can get the Big Snake 3, the Snake Egg 3 chip from it, rather. I think you need to get at least a 5 for it. And you can get an egg code for that, which is alright. The Snake Egg chips are odd in that they can be useful, but they also are very tricky to use well. Because they require not only some setup, but some luck on where the enemies move, as well as the chip itself. Now, notably, there is a funny glitch with World 3 Computer 1 in the GBA version that I think they fixed for Operate Star Force. Which, actually, wait, I think we're about to fight the next enemy, right? Yeah, this is a Can Devil 2. I think 200 HP, 150 damage, and if you get a good enough rank on them, you can get the Candle 2 chip, which, again, I never really use. You need to get at least a rank 7, I think, to get it, though. Essentially, the glitch I'm talking about, if you put out specific fires here, not even using all the fires you can put out, and then jack out and leave the World 3 island, you're loaded into the credits because you basically loaded this computer in a credits cutscene state. I believe they fixed that for Operate Star Force, but I've honestly never tried. Either way, we got the next new enemy here. This is the Handy 3. 300 HP, 200 damage from their Time Bomb, which sucks. But you can get that Time Bomb 3 chip from them, at least at rank 5. And you can get that in a B code, and even though it requires some setup and waiting, if you can get it placed on the right tile and everything, it's a pretty good chip, admittedly, for boss fights. Particularly things that might require some waiting anyway, like... what's a good example? They can be pretty good for Sharkman, I think, at least. I want to say the fins can't move it and destroy it. Unfortunately, O code is not as good. But yeah, it's a funny glitch that basically just skips the entire endgame in the GBA version. I really should have tested to see if it worked, but oh well. I have a feeling that's one they would fix. I know a lot of the things they didn't fix from GBA into Operate Star Force, at least in terms of like manipulations and stuff for battleships in certain battles. But a lot of the other things they did, so eh. Either way, next new encounter is the standard flow shell enemy. 120 HP, 40 damage, just fires a single bomb at a time. You need to get rid of the shield, all that jazz. It does have the highest rate of fire of any of the flow shell enemies, just because it's not firing a burst of 3 or 5 at once. But it's still pretty easy. With that said, if you get at least a... I think even a rank 1 for this thing, you can get its Iron Shield battleship. You can get 5 codes for it. I recommend a 7 through S for the B code, though an 8 through S for the A code isn't too bad either from memory. And Iron Shield's another defensive chip like Gaia Body, or like Iron Body from the Gaia line, rather, in that you hold down the button and it just creates a shield directly in front of you. Ah, not enough ice blocks. I can see the lock program right there.
Leave it to us.
Yai, what are you doing here?
I'll explain later. Glide to work. Certainly, my lady. The rest is up to you.
Thanks, I owe you one. Ladies and gentlemen, the only thing Glide ever does that's useful in the series, and I am unfortunately not joking. You did it! Thanks, Yai.
Just helping out a friend.
You got anything to say about that, Glide?
Be careful.
Fair enough. Before we head on, though, talk to Yai for a little something.
Mail told me to give this to you.
And we get Roll 3R.
Don't lose it now.
I want to say that might be the latest you get a Roll 3 chip in this series, but you tend to get those in the last third of the game anyway, usually, so maybe not. And now already time for our next computer. We're essentially just going through hallways up and up and up in the area, and yeah, it gets repetitive. With that said, this time it's not the oven computer, it's the school computer. Oh no. With that said, every door here is one of the randomized hints, so you have a lot of guessing ahead of you, especially if you want to get every mystery data in here. But yeah, the final area is just the reused computers with a theme exclusive to the World 3 comp, and I do like the song, admittedly. But you don't even do boss refights at the end of the individual areas, like every other Battle Network game does moving forward in some regard. There's no proper boss rush in this game, and it feels a little naked without it, I won't lie. I do try to speed up some of the passwords moving forward, though, just because that saves us a little time. I will give this endgame this. It's at least very to the point, because, yeah, it's recycled areas, but each area is only one screen wide, so to speak. And they don't have much in the way of bullshit. Like, yeah, you have this where you have to just do this number thing over and over and over and over again. But there's no super annoying mechanic you have to deal with. There's no topsy-turvy pathways you have to go through. It's straight to the point, and I can at least appreciate that. But at the same time, it definitely makes it feel like it's not very climactic. I guess at the same time, I shouldn't expect too much from Battle Network 1, a game that's very small in scale to begin with anyway. But, it's complicated. Endgame for RPGs is a very delicate balance to strike between interesting gameplay and climactic storytelling. Some games do more so one than the other, and even like the Final Fantasies, which I love to death, seldom hit the right balance. Like, I think through... I love FF4. Its endgame area feels great to play in terms of, like, scaling difficulty, but there's not much going on there in terms of narrative. FF5 is the even better extreme of that, honestly, because there's a lot of really cool boss fights there, but basically nothing happens until the last 10 or 20 minutes of it. FF6, I don't like the endgame up too much, because I don't like the Phoenix Tower... Phoenix Cave-esque team-splitting thing of 6. 7! Gets the narrative tone down, and it's a little bit brief. 8 has a fantastic final dungeon, just the story sucks. 9 might be the most interesting looking final area, and it has the best narrative stuff to it in a while. And in terms of the battle networks, I love the themes of all of them in terms of, like, actual musical themes. They're all kick-ass songs. But Battle Network 2 is straightforward, but there's not much new going on in it. Battle Network 3, I hate the final area of. Battle Network 4, honestly, might be one of the better ones in terms of both story and gameplay balance. BN5 is my favorite final area in the series. BN6 retreads this one in some very odd ways, but is more interesting because 6 is more interesting as a game, period, unfortunately. I forget how I feel about the Star Force final areas. I remember hating Star Force 2's final area when I first played it, but then when I played it again a few years back, I didn't mind it as much, but I think I was also just not a kid anymore, so I didn't mind some of the things Star Force 2 did as much. It's complicated. Again, balancing something like this can be a little bit of a mess in longer games. Hell, that's why I'm partially a little bit afraid, and I think it's already probably close to coming out, if not releasing, by the time this gets uploaded. But am really a little bit afraid for Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker with how that could go poorly. That's a giant door. Megaman, do your stuff. Huh? No good. This passcode's gonna take time. Leave it to me. Mr. Higsby? Numbers are no problem for Number Man.
Analyzing program. Passcode 9630. Entering passcode.
Thanks, Number Man. And another lock bites the dust. Lan, get going. I'm gone. Anything to say, Number Man?
Higsby has had a change of heart and is now doing his best to help you, as am I.
Good to hear, old Number Dome.
Now I load this into the rocket and...
Report, sir. It seems that intruders are in the lab.
I won't be stopped now. Yahoot! Deal with them!
As you command, so it shall be done.
Just a little more and the world will be... deleted! Oh, say your prayers, Dr. Hikari.
Well, that just seems extreme.
Wipe out World 3, huh?
Anytime you find a person who has a Navi you need to fight for battle chips in the endgame here, this is their new location to fight them anytime during the endgame, and Higsby's not going to be the only one. And honestly, probably for the better, because it's a lot easier to get here than to go all the way deep into some of the other areas. Well, going numerically, we've done 2 of the 5 main plot areas. Time for the Waterworks computer. That's the name of this place. I almost forgot the word. I almost said Iceworks. That's not correct at all. You can probably guess who we're going to find at the end here. The pattern for Battle Network endgames is admittedly pretty straightforward as it is in terms of how they do, like, the ending of each of these areas. But I'm at least glad that they tried to do something unique with the later games. Oh my god, a Tri-Spear there. I have a feeling I meant to cut that out, but I wasn't sure if I think I got that chip. I think I did, and I just forgot to cut out that, like, 1.5 seconds, if even, of footage. Oh well. Whoops. The Waterworks might also be the shortest of the computers now that I think about it, huh? Darn! This is a tough program. Let us help you. What? Freud? I've got a lot of making up to do. Iceman.
Yes, sir.
Did you just eat that shit? Interesting. Thanks, Iceman. Let's get wily. Right on.
Good luck.
Thank you. I should know, I think I mentioned earlier that I think Freud's name is supposed to be pronounced like Froid or something, and he's not the only name like that. Chod's is supposed to be something like Chode or something like that, because there's a lot of French in the Game Boy Advanced era Mega Man games between this series and the Zero series for some reason. More prevalent in Zero, admittedly, but it's a little odd, to say the least. And now time for my favorite computer gimmick of the game. With that said, this is also probably the most complicated of the World 3 computers here, because barring the obvious eventual revisit to the power plant computer, they actually had to think of some level design here. But we got two new enemies here. We got Satella 1s and the, I think this is the Earth Jelly? Satella 1s have 200 HP, do 60 damage, and they drop the Lock-on 1 chip. And the Jelly 3/Earth Jellies have 200 HP, do 300 damage, and they have the final wave chip, the Big Wave chip, which I think is Aqua Elemental, and it will drop between rank 7 through S, whereas Satella 1's Lock-on 1 will drop between rank 5 on. I find it interesting, if you just go out of your way to explore the internet at like a decent pace throughout the game, you end up seeing a lot of viruses you don't encounter the first variant of until the very end of the main story. Like, that's an odd difficulty curve even for this kind of game. It stands the hell out to me.
Hold on, don't forget about us.
Dex!
Leave the hard parts to me and Gutsman. We'll handle this.
You sure you can do it?
Ah, trust me, you should save your strength for the last battle. Yo, Gutsman!
Thanks, Gutsman.
Yeah!
Is that Gutsman's first line in the game? Dex, you really came through.
Of course, silly. But it's not over yet.
You're right. Okay, I'm off. But I wonder how you all knew to come here. I wonder.
Nothing beats being Guts.
Cool. They didn't have a personality in mind for you yet, really, I can tell. With that, we're honestly already approaching the end of the World 3 areas. There's only one main computer left. Oh, we got mail? The Life Virus. Did you all see the World 3 broadcast? Things are getting sticky. I got some info on the Life Virus from my lab connections. I thought all the officials should know about this. Life Virus, ultimate virus made up of 4 programs. Fire, Aqua, Elec, and Wood, possessing no elemental weakness. No effective combat strategies known. That's what it says. Honestly, I don't know how my NetNavi can fight it. I've got some other info here. Apparently there's evidence that the Life Virus's defense program was copied by someone? Something to do with World 3 or the endgame? Who knows. All we can do is practice with our chips and wait. Well, something having anything known as the Ultimate Defense Program is usually a bad case for the player in whatever it is. I'm looking at the Guardian in Final Fantasy VI when you first fight it, for example. Oh, hey, we're in this area finally. Gotta say, it's a little weird to actually walk around in these kind of areas whenever they show up in a game like this. All of their schemes are outlined in these documents. You just let this lying around, Wily? I mean, I know you're almost done, but goddamn. This is the Master Control Center for World 3. Not too surprising. That is a very garish painting of yourself, Wily. God damn, really? A self-portrait of Wily. Hey, Lan, check out all these footprints. Hey, yeah. Let's check around here again. Ah, you notice that the picture swings back. Lan, it's a secret door. Cool, we can jack in here. Time for the last main computer of the game. And of course, it's based off the power plant computer. Great. With that said, the same changes that applied to the main power plant computer also apply here. Invisible pathways, and that's about it. I forget if we even need to light batteries at all here. It's pretty straightforward. With that said, there are still going to be some new viruses from memory. And you also need to be careful here in the GBA version, for a reason I'll go over in a moment. First off, we got the next new encounter. This is the Ammonocule 3. 150 HP, 160 damage, and they can drop the Bubble Wrap 3 chip if beaten with a busting rank, rather, of, I think, 7 or above. And I think there's a B code. I don't like these chips too much, but still. I should note, I believe the bubble, I think I said earlier, takes 1 shot guaranteed for the Ammonocule, and that's technically true. But it does have its own invisible HP count. I think it has, like, I want to say at least 10 HP. So if you hit it with a battleship, it's going to be gone, but you might have to worry about it otherwise, so be careful. Now, the annoying thing about this particular area is this is the final main computer. In fact, before you approach the key data at the end, you want to save, and they place an NPC warning you to save and at least operate Star Force, but I forget if there's one there in the original game, because the moment you progress to the very end of this computer, it's the point of no return. So make sure if you have anything left you want to do before going to beat the game's main story, you do it now. Because once we progress too far to the left, well, be careful. When you fight the Top World 3 Navi, your Navi's save feature will be disabled. You may want to save here. It's close. Very close. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 22, the end game of the end game. See you guys then.